I mean, with you, Lana, it's unbelievable. Before the tour started, remember I made that one, The Calm Before the Storm? 3 days later, the middle of your show was canceled because of possible tornadoes in Texas, and people were sitting there waiting, and you couldn't appear. That was a Twilight Zone nightmare. What other worst possible thing, barring physical injury, could happen? Well, in New York, when you did that festival recently, the Governor's Ball, the sound system apparently really messed up. It's not your fault, but a chunk of the audience couldn't hear and left, and they had you playing at the same time with the Black Keys. Dan Auerbach produced Ultraviolence. He's in the Black Keys. It mystifies me how that happened. And not that you necessarily have the same audience. I don't know. It was just very bizarre. But then for the sound to go up. So what has happened to you so far is among the worst things, really, that could happen. You know, a show canceled and the sound going out. Well, there is one other thing I can think of. Recently, what's his name? Enrique Iglesias. I can say it. Enrique Iglesias. He had a concert apparently, and he had one of those drone things as part of the concert. I guess it would go above the audience to see the crowd or whatever, and part of it is supposed to come down on stage. Anyway, he grabbed it and he cut his hand really bad. And I mean, it seems insane. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist. Sometimes you got to consider the source. So what I'm going to say, you know, I'm a guy sitting in my room with Lana, you know, making videos. So maybe I'm not an expert. But a drone at a concert with lots of people doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, could you imagine if Lana had something flying around the audience and somebody threw a flower crown up and knocked it down? It fell and cut some 13-year-old girl's nose off. Oh, mommy, help! You know, I mean, it would be like a nightmare. You know, Bob, we were going to try that. We had 4 of them flying up, and they had rose petals on them at a certain time in the concert. They were going to drop all the petals on the audience, but one of them crashed into the ground. So we thought it's best not to do that. On to the Boston show. I went to, I lived out in Los Angeles for 20 years, and I flew out there to visit relatives, and I got to see Lana at the Hollywood Bowl. I had gotten tickets for the Boston show because the Boston show was scheduled after the Hollywood Bowl one was announced, so I didn't really know this show was going to happen. So I don't know if but I'm glad I went to both of them anyway. I'm not mad at you, Lana. So I got a ticket when the first one on sale, a GA Pit ticket with a row and a seat number, and I wasn't real clear. Is that going to be standing? Is that? I mean, that just was the best seat available because I picked the highest price and best section. So then I got another one, and the sections go 1, 2, 3. You know, if I'm Lana or this is Lana, so it's 1, 2, 3. So I got a seat, a sitting reserve seat. Row W, section 3, which is, you know, one of the front sections. It doesn't start at A, it starts at like F. So W is about 18 rows back, and it was kind of center of that section. So I said, cool, I'll just sit and get rid of this pit ticket. Well, it turns out with Ticketmaster, for some tickets, you can resell right through Ticketmaster, and they charge a service fee, and you put whatever you want, and whatever you can get is fine. The pit ticket, it said, I opened up the ticket thing, and it says it's pick up at box office only the day of the show, like an hour and a half. So I guess they want to monitor those better. So it's kind of like, ugh, now am I going to be able to sell that one? Boom, fast forward the night before the concert. The concert was on Tuesday. Monday night, I was looking at my tickets at Ticketmaster. I said, let me see what's available just for the fun of it. I clicked on one ticket, high price. The highest price was like $96. Boom. One ticket comes up, section 2, that's the center section, row P. And I looked and I said, row P is in front of W. And it was like 20, I think 23, 22 or 23. And the thing times out if you don't pick it. You have like 4 minutes, and it timed out. And I looked at the seating chart, and I went to another website to get a better seating chart. And the rows actually starts at M. There's the pit, and then it goes like MNOP. So that was like 4 rows back. So I said, and I was torn. I said, well, I already have 2 tickets. I'm going to buy another ticket. So I bought it. So then I put the section 3 ticket on sale instantly through Ticketmaster, but there's less than 24 hours to the show. So the next day, what happens? I get an email from Ticketmaster saying, your tickets have not sold yet. If you're going to sell them, if you're going to use the ticket, please remove them from sale, and they'll be removed a couple hours before the show anyway. So bottom line, I removed them from sale. They didn't sell. So Now I have 3 tickets and 1 bob. What am I going to do? Okay, so the day the show comes, it's a Tuesday. I go to work. I left right from work to this place, the Xfinity Center. It's about an hour and 10-minute drive with no traffic. And, I left at like 4:30. And I'm right near the highway at work. And the place is right near the highway. But I didn't get down there to about 6:15, which is fine. It's amazing. I mean, it's right. You get off the exit of the highway, make a right turn, a couple hundred yards, and they're, navigating everyone in. The only thing is, the Xfinity Center, the parking is free, but the center itself is, half a mile deep within this plot of land, and there's only that one entrance in. So, not everybody comes at the same time. So you just follow everyone in, and they guide you, and then they have all these different lots, and you just park, and then you walk. So I get there, there's, lines of people. They hadn't opened the venue, so I saw big lines, but I wasn't that worried because I knew once they opened, it would just go down. Here's a picture. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that one. Oh, that was between me and Lana. This is the picture. This is just a little, it doesn't even do it justice. That was just one line going out into the ozone. So I had to go to the box office. So now I have 2 tickets with me, and then to go to the box office to pick up my 3rd ticket. I go to the box office, and first I thought there might be hordes of people around the box office, and there weren't. The pit, they only sold like 300 tickets in the pit, so the pit wasn't this madhouse packed to the brim. It was very controlled. When I saw her at the House of Blues in Boston, everyone had to pick up their tickets at the box office. It was a way to try and prevent scalping. It was a nightmare. I'll talk about the Boston show in depth in another video. And even now I get the heebie-jeebies thinking about it, what a nightmare that show was. As much as I love you. But, so I go to the box office, and I asked the woman, I wouldn't say she was my age, but she was not in her 20s, she was an older woman, relative to some other people working there. And if you're watching this, ma'am, you were very sweet, and I didn't mean any offense. I'd say the odds of that woman watching this video right now are like about 0. But anyway, so I asked her, because I wasn't sure if they were going to like give me an armband right at that point if I wanted the ticket, or if I would just get a ticket, because I had read that they give you an armband, and I wanted to try and sell it, so I didn't know if I'd have to try and find someone and then walk back up to the box office. So she was a little confused. It wasn't her fault. Even now I'm making it confusing. I explained I have a seating ticket, and I probably want to sit there, and I want to get rid of this other one. And she said, no, we just give, I'll just give you the ticket right now. I gave her my license. But then she said, I shouldn't even said I was trying to sell it. That's stupid, because most venues, they frown on reselling tickets on the property. But she said, and she was like doing the party line, which I understand. If you sell a ticket, you have to sell it for face value, which is all I was going to do. I'm not trying to take advantage of a Lana fan. So I get the ticket, and then I took this picture here, if you check that out. I love this picture. It came out really cool. I just laid it on the ground. It was on a stripe of, of the parking lot, one of the lines, and it came out pretty cool. If you'll notice, I moved it so that the barcode is out of the way. And now in retrospect, that was kind of dumb, because there's a couple of people I had seen on Instagram who posted pictures of their tickets for their concerts, and they put the whole ticket in with the barcode, and I messaged them and said, it's not the best idea to put a picture of your ticket with the barcode. Somebody could extract that and input that into maybe one of the, the kind you print out on a big piece of paper, put the barcode in, and could maybe get in if they get there before you. Who knows? So then like 10 minutes later, both of them had withdrawn their picture and put it back without the barcode in. But when I'm now in retrospect, there's no way that somebody would see my picture if I posted it on Twitter or something, and then printed something up to get to the venue. I mean, I was there. It would be impossible for them to get there and get in before me. So, but anyway, it was kind of a cool picture. I like it. So then I'm walking around trying to sell both tickets if possible. These groups of girls would walk by, and I felt kind of creepy. I'm like, hey, you want a ticket? You guys got a ticket? But I said no, and they were pretty nice. Kept asking. Suddenly, guess what? It starts sprinkling, and I had a rain jacket on. I forget it. It's behind me. I had a rain jacket on, and it starts sprinkling because the weather said it might sprinkle a little, and for the show it was going to be okay. Well, it started sprinkling. It started downpouring. It started downpouring. I said, well, that's it. I'm going in. So I ran, and everybody else kind of ran. and it was, you know, easy to get in. I get in, it's pouring, and then I went straight to the merch place, and oh, what is this? Oh, what's that? See that? Lana, look. That's your little book. This is like a souvenir book, and it has, you know, lyrics all her song. Let me open this up here. There's pictures, and here, what's that? Oh, look at that. That's like a Lolita type picture. Ooh. Um, so, and you know, it's funny. I had gotten one of these at the Hollywood Bowl show and sent it to someone, and I thought I don't really care. But then when I was here in Boston, I said, you know what? Once she's gone, you know, they may not have this for the next tour, so I might as well get one. So I got that, which was kind of cool. Boom. Then I go to my seat. Now, this is where it gets unbelievable. I'll try and remain calm here. The seat that I had gotten just the night before, like I say, it was like 3 or 4 rows. Actually, the first row was there's seats there, but they had these barriers up against them, so nobody's sitting. So there's only people sitting in the next 2 rows, and then me. And in front of the barriers was the pit. So I sat down, and next to me, or 2 seats over, was a young woman, a young man, and another young woman, and they weren't young teenagers; they were in their 20s. And I just said, "How you doing?" I just sat down, and then at some point, you know, I didn't want to bother them. I said, "Oh, you know, how you doing?" I said, "Look, I've got a pit ticket," and I decided I'm not going to use the pit ticket. I could have maybe taken the pit ticket, gone into the pit, and come back to my seat and back and forth. But you know what? I didn't care. My seat, and I'll get into that in a second, was so good. I just said, I don't even want to deal with it. And they, you know, they were together, and the guy asked his girlfriend, "You want it?" And she's like, "No, I don't think so." But you know, they appreciate it. So then we were just talking a little bit about Lana, and that unraveled my string. And I said, "Oh, I've seen her in L.A., and I saw her in Boston last year, and I saw her at the El Rey." And then I said, I took out my smartphone, and you know, I got to a YouTube page of my videos, the last video about the Hollywood Bowl. So it's just a picture of me and Lana. And before I showed it to this woman, I said, you know, I'm not crazy. I said, I make videos of me and Lana. I said, I'm not crazy. And I was kind of serious, and she kind of laughed. And then I showed her the picture because I just felt a little awkward showing a stranger, Lana, it's not that we don't love you, but I have to say things so that she doesn't really understand. You know what I'm saying. You know, when I show people pictures of you and me, they're so blown away because everybody wants to have a picture with you, and you and I are just sitting here talking away. So when people find out, they're a little bit surprised. So, oh, Bob, I don't think anyone thinks you're crazy. Oh, sweetheart, let's do a little purr here. We always purr to express our love for each other. It's affection. It's not nothing more than that. Isn't she the best? No, I know no one thinks I'm crazy. So anyway, I showed her the picture, and I said, you know, if you want to check out my videos, it's Lana Del Rey and Bob at the Hollywood Bowl. But I didn't share. So anyway, so then I held myself back. So if you guys are watching, I apologize. I don't think I was dragging them down because I wanted to make an effort to not. I'm very familiar with the concept of the captive audience. You know, if you've been on an airplane or maybe even in a restaurant, or let's say you're online and there's a long line at a store, and the guy next to you starts talking, and you're like, okay, da, da, da. And then suddenly you got a new best friend, and then maybe he checks out first and he waits for you, and then you're walking out the parking lot with this guy and he's yapping away, and then it's like, oh God. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll send you a friend request on Facebook. You know, I'm douchebag. You get a friend request from douchebag. That's me, okay? You know, like, thumbs up or whatever. I mean, so I didn't want them to like, oh my God, this guy won't shut up, and like drag the show down for them. So I didn't say too much. They were very sweet, and I watched myself. So the show starts, and first out is Grimes. And I'm not familiar with her really. I mean, I looked a little on the web because I knew she was coming with Lana, and not really my kind of thing. A lot of this techno stuff, and her voice seemed pretty good, but wasn't familiar with any of the songs. I got to give her credit though. She's like a natural performer. She was up there. She was really into it. She's tall, lanky, has this angular body, and she's just moving her arms and kicking around. And the pit, like I would say, the pit. You know, there's people like kind of 10 or 15 feet people deep, kind of crushed. But then there's plenty of room in the back of the pit where people can walk and dance. And there were these 3 girls, and they were dancing and having a wonderful time. And I was very impressed with at the end of one song, Grimes kind of looked down at them and like smiled and brought her knee up and kicked it way up in the air like a ballet dancer, like her foot was like right here. And then one of the girls kicked her feet up, and then Grimes like nodded and smiled. So it was very nice of her to acknowledge the audience, you know. And by the end of her set, people were still, you know, kind of milling into the theater, but people gave her a nice round of applause. So that was nice. I have a little video here. Now, just so you know, my smartphone, it's a Moto X. The phone's great. The camera's good if there's bright sunshine, but I took some pictures, took some videos. It's, you know, they didn't come out that well. I just want to show a little bit of Grimes. And then there's this woman who was dancing who had, I don't know, like birds taped to her, attached to her hair. You'll see dancing around, so I'll show that. So now I just want to say something about the, you know, the seat. It was the night before the concert, and I found this one single seat, and a lot of other people sit next to me, and they had good seats too, but I was so happy. I mean, had I had to sit in the seat I originally got in section 3, it was still a decent seat, and I would have had a great time. But the fact that less than 24 hours before, this seat became available through the venue. It wasn't a resale. And I think this seat and the one next to me probably were initially, they have these charity tickets or VIP tickets, which they overprice, and I guess if no one buys them, they make them available. But you know, it's almost like God was saying, here you go, Bob, for all your Lana work, because the seat was unbelievable. I swear to God, I was sitting dead center, and sitting, I was above the level of people in the pit, and I could see the stage fine. And I was standing for most of the show anyway, and Lana was like level with me. And the little video I have, and the pictures I took, it looks like she's farther away than she really is. But I mean, it was no problem. And even though I was standing, I think if I went in the pit, you're still battling with other people and trying to get in. And she didn't do it. Actually, she went in the audience a couple times, but it was very quick. It wasn't like some other show. So I had no problem. So I was so happy. And you know something? I feel like, not that I'm any more special than any other Lana fan. I'm not the biggest Lana fanatic. But I deserve it. You know what? I've done a lot for you, put a lot of time in. I mean, the past 3.5 years since Born to Die came out, on a daily basis, I Google Lana's name and I look, you know, and you can do a sort by last 24 hours to see what articles. And the first year, I mean, my God, there's stuff every day and people writing stuff. They're, you know, obsessed with unraveling the enigma of Lana Del Rey. And I've made the videos, and I've supported other people who like Lana. So I said, you know, I put my time in. I deserve to have a good seat, and it worked out fine. So I paid $300 basically for one seat. Maybe I should have just gone through a ticket agency or a resale and paid for that anyway. But who knows? Because the pit ticket and the other ticket didn't get used. Actually, there was someone sitting behind us who heard us talking about the pit ticket. So a few songs in, he asked me, and I just gave him. So this other guy went in the pit and took some pictures. I don't know what happened, but I don't care. I had my picture of the ticket, so I'm perfectly happy. So I just want to say that about the ticket. I was so, like I say, I can't explain it. You know, the less than 24 hours before, I check online and like the best seat I could possibly get. It was quite magical. So I have one video. The video itself is not that good, but it's the audio. The thing that I love most about really coming to concert is not so much hearing Lana, and of course you want to hear Lana the band, but I love the crowd reaction. I love being with fans. And I made sure that this was the opening when she first came out and she first walks on the stage. And I've got to say, although the video is not that good, the audio is decent, and you can hear the crowd. I mean, it's crazy. When I started at the Hollywood Bowl is not a covered place. It's outside completely, and it just sweeps back up into this hillside, and I think it's even larger than the Xfinity Center. The Xfinity Center is outdoor, but there's a whole big front section that's all covered. So when the people screamed, the sound just barrels in. In fact, Lana even said one time, she goes, God, of all the shows on this tour, you guys are the loudest. I mean, the sound when people were screaming after a song or whatever was just astonishing. So I got the opening. So just don't worry about the quality, and it's probably going to be small. It's smartphone size on here, and I tried stretching it out, but it looks ridiculous. So here it is. So the whole show, I was so happy. Well, that's all I can say. Just loving every moment of it, and loving the crowd, and everybody was happy. And um, there was a point during that song "Serial Killer," that one of her unreleased songs, where she goes, "Ah," and I think I got some video of that. That didn't come out that great, but she sighs, and the whole place goes crazy. And the people next to me were enjoying themselves, and I just had such a great time. So, boom, fast forward, the show's over, and then I think it was 10:15, 10:30, and then I walked back to my car by maybe 10:30 in my car, and there's no rhyme or reason. You just sit basically in the parking lot, and there's no cops, no kids with jackets on directing anything. Well, there's nothing to direct. We just sat, and I guess as different sections get released, it's like it slowly bleeds down to us. The bottom line is I hit the highway. The highway is like a quarter of a mile. Once you make a left out of this main lot, the highway entrance is right there. It was 12:51. So 10:30, 11:30, 11:30, 12:30. It's like almost 2.5 hours. Once we started moving, it was probably 8 minutes, but otherwise just sitting there. So I got home. I think 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was fried. I mean, I was really tired. I took the day off from work Wednesday because I knew with this parking situation I'd be back late. And then I think I posted on the web, on Twitter or something, this picture. That's just a picture of one of my Lana pictures, you know what I mean, and the book. Since the tour is almost over, today's Saturday, and I think she's got tonight and 2 more shows. In fact, I think she did one a couple nights ago, and everything I saw on the Jiffy Lube Center in Virginia, I think. But everything I saw on the web, people really loved that show. Try to not have something happen in the next couple shows, like to have lightning strike and have 50 people hair turn white like mine, you know what I mean? Or maybe you and the whole band will get like the worst case of athlete's foot known to man, and you'll still perform, but you'll be up on stage scraping your feet on the, I mean, I know it's not your fault, sweetheart. Oh, Bob, don't be silly. Nothing's going to happen. Okay, she's right. She's right. Nothing's going to happen, right? We got 3 more shows to go, and nothing. So anyway, I'm going to take you out. There's this artist named Arlo Guthrie. He was big in the 60s, kind of singer-songwriter, folk singer, kind of. His dad was Woody Guthrie, very famous songwriter and human rights activist, I think, with labor, migrant workers, and that kind of thing, I think. And this song's called The City of New Orleans. You may have heard it. It's about a train called The City of New Orleans, and it travels across America and people it touches. And it's not the whole song, it's just the last couple chunks because it's long, and I don't want you guys to get too bored. But we're going to close with that. So Lana, what do I always say at the end of our videos? But we always say, God loves you, Lana loves you, and Bob loves you. Goodbye, everyone. Till next year. Oh, Lana, you're the best. Enjoy the song, everyone. Bye.
Dealing card games with the old man in the club car. Penny a point ain't no crewmen, porters, and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the rails is all they feel. Good morning, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans, changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home, we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. But all the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream, and the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again, the passengers will please refrain. This train got to disappear in railroad blues. Good night, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.